I've actually been pretty excited about this kit ever since I saw it previewed. The photos of it, the initial photos, made it look absolutely incredible. The kit that it's replacing, the other old entry grade, was not very impressive at all, but this one, it has like a full range of motion. It's pretty close to being an HG from what I've seen. And then they also designed it so that you can remove it from the sprue without any clippers, and assemble it without any tools. So I'm gonna see how that works. In the long run, this kit's gonna end up getting painted. But I just want to see how it builds first and see if whether I really do need to clean it up. I expect I'm going to have to do a little bit of cleanup because I plan on painting it, so I want it to look good. But we'll see what it looks like when you remove parts from the sprue without cleanup and when you do with cleanup. So here we go, the RX-78-2 Gundam entry grade. It comes with a much smaller booklet than you normally get. I guess that makes sense. Small box. Very straightforward. Starts with the head as usual. Ends on the feet. It's pretty easy looking. A lot of the pieces are just big parts, so you don't have to assemble too many. You can see on the back here, just the parts for the weapon. You're going to end up with a little bit of a seam line there because of the clamshell. But overall, looks good. Pretty cool that this part's all color. Obviously they're trying to promote this more, trying to get more people into the hobby, and again with any of the newer manuals, lots of this is in English. In fact, this one is exclusively in English. English, French, and Spanish it looks like. So obviously this has been designed with the intention of bringing more Gundams to the North American market, putting those languages on it, and having no Japanese at all. So that's interesting. Obviously there's going to be completely different packaging for other parts of the world then. So we've got our runners here. I like to just unpack everything. That's interesting. So it's not a pure white. It's a slightly off white with that slightly greenish tint to it that you get on well, the original entry grade was that color, but also some of the older interpretations of the mobile suit are also done in this off-white color. It's more similar to what they actually colored it in the animation. So, personally, I like the white, pure white. Okay, so starting off with the head, I'm just going to put the runners off to the side. There's not very many of them, so I don't really need to organize them that carefully. And these ones split out in half super easily. That's cool. Oh, they all do that. Alright. So starting with the A runner, which is the multicolored one, or the most multicolored one as usual. So A1, the eyes. So first test, I've not used one of these before. We're going to see how easily it comes off of the runner without any nippers. Got them here just in case I need them, but let's see how we do. And just a little bit of pop with the thumb. Two, there we go. It's off pretty easily. Different color. So we've got that part. A2, 16. It's nice not having to use any tools. And then B1, 3, we got our lower part of the face. So that's a pretty small piece there. I'd be worried about breaking it off, but I'm going to trust the Bandai designers here. Oh, just a quick little twist, and that came off no problem at all. How was that one? Yeah, so there's little tiny nubs on it, but honestly, they're not really any worse than you'd get with nippers with an initial cut. So I'm not really thinking I need nippers at all, but yeah, you probably do want to do a tiny bit of cleanup afterwards. But yeah, nippers definitely not required, so that's good, especially if you want to give it to a kid. Obviously they have to be able to handle the small parts, but for children this is probably a pretty good kit. given that you don't have to give them any sharp tools at all in order to assemble it. So let's get the rest of the head parts off. It also uses no stickers, so it means the eyes are separate. That's pretty cool. So this kit basically has as good a face as anything else does. Yeah, so I guess you could paint it to get the color. Oh no, there's gonna be another piece in there. 216. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, so it's yeah, the eyes are separate. Man, I wish more pieces had the eyepiece, or more kits had the eyepieces completely separate like this, so they just punch through, because that is pretty awesome. Let's grab that V-fin. V-fins are notoriously breakable, so again, we're gonna just sort of trust Bandai here. This is a bit harder. Okay, well, it works that way. I don't know if it's intentional that you kind of break that piece out first. That seems like it was a bit of a molding error, but it worked. So there, it's got the safety pieces on it. Yeah, it says in the instructions here, slowly remove each part when you're removing the V-fin, because it is very breakable. But yeah, that's not bad. So if we want to clean up the V-fin at all, we do need nippers. Get rid of the extra bit. File that to clean it up afterwards. Okay, so just need the rest of the head. Okay, so the head there is basically all one piece, which means we don't have to worry about any awkward seam lines. Yeah, it snapped a little bit when it came off, but not bad. It definitely needs a bit of sanding though, because there's a seam line running right up the side, right up around it this way. So definitely want to get some sanding for that. Adjust that a little bit better. It's getting washed out by the white. Okay, let's see how we do here. That goes on there nicely. You know, the eyes just come in on top nicely like that. The whole head comes in like so. That's super easy. Okay, so that's neat. And there we go, Gundam head. Not bad. Okay, so step 2 is the torso here. I don't know why I keep grabbing nippers, I don't need them. You come off. You can come on. Okay, that part's a little harder, but there we go. Okay. So that drops in from above. That's a new way to assemble this part of the RX-78. Having built more of them in the past, I have some idea how they usually go together. This is neat. I'm just gonna remove it just to make sure. That's cool. So there's no rubber parts in this, no PC caps. As with a lot of the newer kits, they're slowly moving away from that. Yeah, so we're on to the upper part of the torso. I feel like you could do speed runs with this here. You could have competitions to see who can build one the fastest. Similar to 30-minute mission kit in that way. It's obviously designed to go together super easily and super smooth. Overall, it's impressive. It's the engineering is quite good. Okay, so here's where you can kind of see where you start to lose some of the quality here, where you can see these big gaps when you start moving it, right there. I mean, that's not bad still. Not terrible having that gap. Kids aren't going to care at all. And honestly, when it's in its normal position from above, right, you can't see that at all from this angle. So, not that big a deal, really. Shoulders on this kit join in a completely new way. So they snap on rather than going inside, but you still get a good range of motion that way too. Such a precision fit too. Wow, that's great. And the neck part doesn't look like there's an up or down with it. There we go. Let's grab the backpack. Let's give it some beam sabers. There's one beam saber. And there's the other beam saber there. These plug-in, oh, they've got holes on them still, so you can still put a beam saber clear part into it if you wanted to. It doesn't come with any, but if you have one, it'll go. Should fit in there just fine. Let me see if I've got one handy. Here's one from a master grade beam saber. So it's a little bit bigger. Yeah, okay, so the master grade one will not fit. Let me see if I can find a high grade one. Alright, so this is from a high grade or a real grade, I'm not sure which. Let's see if that'll fit. No, still not. Oh, that's disappointing. It's close. You could make it fit, obviously, just a little bit of drilling. But, yeah, unfortunately that doesn't just quite fit in there. Kind of surprising. Just because they usually make a lot of their parts very interchangeable. Alright, so we have our upper body. Let's skip ahead a little bit on the instructions. Give it its head now. There we go. And now we're on to arms. I don't want it to be unarmed. There we go. Man, I wish every kit could be built this quickly. I hope they make a Zaku of this too. Man, if they make a first grade Zaku, or beginner grade Zaku, whatever it is here. What are we? We are an entry grade Zaku. That would be amazing. Because I am quite happy and impressed with this kit so far. No, that's cool. So we don't have to assemble these at the same time at all. This goes together and then this clips in afterwards, which I like. Look at that. The seam line's hidden there with a panel line. Very clever, Bandai. Very clever. That's cool. B41. No, B14. That makes a difference. There we go. We need our upper arm pieces. Let's come off again, super quick and easy. So, is there a front and back? Yes, there is. That's obviously the back because we got the little split there. The little split's going to be used to line it up. Now, the part that I said was cool before is this. So on this exposed part here, which is really ugly, it has a cap that goes in. Like so. There we go. Cleans that up perfectly. And then still yeah, bends. Very cool. It is a single part joint. It's not a double joint, which is fine. That's all we need. Bends full range of motion there. And we got a little seam line here. A little bit there, so it's going to need to be cleaned up again as well there. But again, for any kid anyways, and for a lot of builders too who don't even do a full cleanup, this is fine. They're not going to care. Need our shoulder inner pieces. That's cool. These attach on, very straightforward. Just need our big pieces of shoulder armor. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, It's not so bad. Okay, so the shoulder armor. What I thought was going to happen is these little holes here were going to be part of the shoulder armor attachment. But they're not. The armor entirely attaches right in there. Right there, into the gray piece there. Just snaps straight down onto it. And wow, look at that. Immediately, we got a nice range of motion. The shoulder pad moves up with it. Rotates forward. So yeah, wow. This is a really cool kit. Very impressive. It's so simple, but it works. Everything about it just works perfectly. Okay, so there's our upper body. It only has one set of hands. Not surprising. Would be a lot cooler if it came with an open hand or even a closed fist without the hole in it there for when it is empty-handed, but can't complain too much because it is still pretty sweet. There we go. So now we're on to the waist. Came off super quick and easy. So that's pretty cool. It's got the little V already molded into it. So obviously we got a red part that's going to go around that. You actually build this kit largely without the instructions, just because of the, if you know the coloring and the general shapes. Sweet. There's her butt. Front skirts. So easy to pop that out. Can't believe it. So, can you split these front skirts? No. Don't think you can. So sometimes on a kit you can cut right here in the front skirt so that they'll move up independently. This one though, because of the way it's attached in here, if you were to cut them, it will just fall out. It needs to be in there like that, which is not too surprising. Would have been nice if it was two separate pieces, but that's all right. Oh, actually, maybe. Let's see here. How does this go in here? No, hold on, it will stay. And once you put this piece on, the two pieces will stay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they will. Alright, we're gonna try it. Hopefully it doesn't break it entirely. We're gonna see here, so that you will know. The hard part is going to be getting them to stay while I put in the next piece, but we can kind of wedge it in there. Yeah, okay, that's what I kind of thought might happen. There we go, we got them balanced in there carefully. And on. There we go. Okay, there we go. So that's not coming out now. Yeah, those are holding, and they will now come up and down independently. So cool. So it's a little bit harder to set it up, but it does in fact work. Last pieces off of the A runner are the little, I'm not entirely sure what they are actually, the little covers that go on the front skirt here. I seem to recall, no, I don't know what's hidden in them offhand. In the front piece here, it has the protection for atmospheric entry, I know. And these are rectangles. Yeah, so they're perfectly symmetrical, so you can't put them on wrong. So that makes that easier. Unlike on, say, the 3.0, which I built earlier. The shear, they can definitely be put on the wrong way. And this one, they can't. So there we go. Let's give your body together there. Sweet. So that one will sit like that. Sometimes on the instructions with legs and stuff, they tell you to do the legs twice. They put them in the instructions twice, but here it just says, it gives the instructions once and just tells you to do it twice, which is easier. I like it that way. Anyway, that's how I build. I never bother doing them separately. I do them simultaneously with legs and arms typically. Alright, next to the other multicolored runner here, which is the A3 runner. Okay. Kind of cool. It's got a little bit of detailing here underneath, which is nice. Because when it's angled up, you're going to be able to see in there, which is kind of awkward because that's not really how it should work. But at least they put in a little bit of detailing there. Oh, that's cool. So, I don't know whether I can zoom in on this or not. So what they've done here is even on... So let me try to get a focus. Alright, well, basically here, so we've got the detailing all on here, which is awesome. But even these little pegs, these red pegs here, the top of the pegs are actually detailed. They have a cut in them, so they kind of look like screws. That's cool. That's a great attention to detail. Okay, that's on. So the front of the foot, whatever the ankle protection guard here is called. It's a bit harder to detach. There we go. Just kind of wiggle it around until it comes, basically. And it'll start breaking off one piece at or one spot at a time. Yeah, there we go. Just wiggle different parts of it until it comes free. Again, there's no... Oh no, this does have an up or down. Okay, yeah, so as the instructions say, that the bigger part of the loop here, the circle, is the top. So just gonna go on. These are actually better than on the Leo. These ankle guard pieces, the way they attach, which is kind of sad. Because the Leo is a pretty new kit and it's a high grade, and this is an entry grade. I do like how everything snaps in afterwards, so you never have to worry about sticking something in here and then snapping parts together. You just snap them together and then everything else still snaps onto it afterwards, which is fantastic. Makes it so much easier to build. Those knees. I like that the knees are a separate part. They definitely didn't need to be. They are a little bit loose though. Those knees, okay, that one's on pretty good. Yeah, so that knee, for whatever reason, is not on as snug. Don't know why. So those could come off pretty easily if you're not careful. The upper thigh. Okay, so the seam line here is actually a panel line, which is a good idea. I'll show you a little bit better before I snap them together. So like on this part here, the seam line goes right down the middle of the parts, which isn't ideal because that needs to be cleaned up. But on these, what they've done is, you can see it here, is that the seam line is actually, like the joining line is actually a panel line right there. So you don't have to clean that one up. It's designed to look that way. Very clever. So the knees next. The knees on this are basically the same as what's used on the Leo. Same technology basically. That on yet. Well, made a bit of a mistake. Didn't get too far with it though. Gotta put this piece in first. I'm gonna put a thigh in. So thigh is on, it doesn't matter which thigh because they are the exact same. And then that piece snaps in. There we go, we got our thighs. Snap these into the feet. Again, they don't matter which way they go, there is no left or right with these. And then we just need the hip pieces. And that hip piece is basically what determines what side of the leg it's going to go on. There we go. That is definitely a Gundam. It's not quite done yet. I've got to add the side skirts on still. Which go on after you put in the legs because you need that access. There we go. And so that's the full RX-78 itself. So now it's onto the weapons. Get the gun. As I mentioned at the start, just the nature of the gun being this clamshell piece where it comes in together like this, we're going to end up with a nasty seam line right on the top of the barrel there. Again, kids aren't going to care. And then we've got the sensor on the gun here. Okay, it's got a pretty plain handle, just to make it really easy for it to hold. Oh wow, and it's a super snug hold on that. That's fantastic. That's not going to fall out. No way. Like, that's on there. Just the pressure fit, man. That's better than most kits. Which the HGs and master grades, for that matter, held their guns that well. Let alone RGs. Now this piece we're gonna have to be careful with because that's fragile. That is reinforced a bit on the back there, so that's gonna help. Just wiggle it back and forth a bit, see if we can. Oh, okay, no, let's try this. One piece. Once you get one piece off, the rest just wobble off easily. It's just stacks, super straightforward. Done. That's our shield. It's got most of the detailing on the back already, and then it just has this this little piece here, which is used as a handle, and it can go different ways, it looks like. Yeah. Fit this way like that, or so that's the down position. Oh yeah, so it's a square, so it goes on either way. You can just rotate it because it's a perfect square, like so. Just depending on whether you want the grip sort of down and out of the way, or more in its hand. It's actually a bit of a pain to get back out. There we go. So we're going to put it in hand. Oh, it's got a peg here too, so it can peg into the forearm. Perfect. There we go. There is our RX-78-2. And let's just look at this thing. So range of motion on this thing is amazing. So it's got some ab crunch ability there, and it opens up a bit when you do it, but that's kind of just the way it is. You're gonna accept that. So you got a little bit of ab, wow, you got a lot of ab crunch actually. You can move quite far, and then go back a fair bit as well. Side to side, pretty damn good. That's a pretty big twist to the one side, and it'll do the same the other way, of course. Everything being symmetrical on this. The legs, the hips go way out, way forward, and we separated the skirts to make that even better. So we can, does it go back much? Yeah, there we go. So the back won't go as much because the back skirt locks it, and that one does not flex at all. But, I mean, you can still kick himself in the back of the head, basically, so I'd say that's enough still. So we have range of motion, amazing. Better than most kits. And of course the arms we kind of went over already, but gun goes straight, or the arm goes straight up and above the head there. Straight down, super straight down. The elbow has full range of motion as well, and then it also twists here as well. So, and then the head, limited range because it's just a head, of course, on the neck, forward, backward. Can tip side to side a bit. Focus. I can tip side to side a little bit, and then forward, and then backward as well. And then of course it'll turn. No problem. So yeah, amazing, great kit. And with the price point so cheap, everybody should own one of these, because everyone should own an RX-78. The grandpas they're called, because it is the founding of the franchise. So everyone should have at least one in their collection, and this is a good one to get. Super cheap, super easy, and if you want to introduce someone new to gunpla, this is the kit to do it with. Like, no tools required. That looks solid right now, without any tools, without any major cleanup. I will be going back to clean it up to paint it, but yeah, does it really need it? Not for a lot of people. I mean, I've seen a lot of people with finished builds that have little marks like that on their kits, and they're quite happy. And if you give this to a kid or something, they're going to be ecstatic. And build time, I mean, I slowed down a bit, but you could easily build this in 30 minutes or less. So this could be your next 30-minute mission, I guess. Anyways, I'm going to do another video with the painting of this. Yeah, tune into that one as well.